Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I am your host as usual, and obviously, welcome back to the show. Today's episode 112 of the show, and before we get started, we're going to do a bit of house cleaning. First things first, obviously you guys can see that we're doing the video again. We finally got the issues with Premiere, patched out. So now we know what happened, and now I'm able to do videos again. So obviously for the YouTube people, you guys are able to see the video version of this podcast, and obviously audio people, you guys are already used to audio anyway, so you don't really change much. But I do want to thank you guys for your patience with me for getting this resolved, because it was a pain in the butt. It wasn't anything with my camera or even my computer. It was mainly just Premiere being dumb and some technical things going on. But aside from that, I do want to thank you guys for coming back and listening to the show. It really means a lot to me. This is, 112 episodes of doing this stuff, and things are getting crazy as time goes on. I'm not even joking with y'all. This is going to be a crazy episode. I do want to give a little bit of a advisor warning that this is going to be a very heavy talk. It is not a real talk because it is discussing, things going on in the video game industry and technology space. And it's not really a real talk, but it will be very heavily infused. So it's basically almost like a cross between the normal discussions and the real talks. And it is a heavy topic. But I do want to thank you guys for coming back and listening, and I hope you guys can be patient with me, because I do want to be very delicate when discussing this episode and really this topic, because it is something very heavy, and I do want to talk about it. So let's get right into it. So we're talking about EVO 2020 getting canceled, and why it got canceled, and then we'll go into a little bit of details of what happened on why it got canceled, and then how does EVO really go forward from this point, because it is a very serious situation that needs to be handled very delicately and needs to be addressed properly and not just, willy-nilly. So we're talking about EVO 2020. So if you guys don't know what EVO is the biggest fighting game championship tournament in the world. It is obvious. It's considered where the best of the best go to play. Like, EVO is always hype. It has been around for many years, and it's been very popular. I personally love watching EVO every single year, because anybody that knows me very well, I love fighting games. My favorite fighting game was Street Fighter 4. I've also played a ton of Dragon Ball FighterZ when it came out, because it came out on my birthday, actually, my 18th birthday. So that was actually really cool that I got to play Dragon Ball Z FighterZ. I haven't played Fighters in a long time, and I haven't played Street Fighter in a long time, but I've always had a soft spot for fighting games. And to see what happened this year for EVO is heartbreaking. It is very disheartening for me, because this is a community that I really love. I love the FGC. I follow a lot of people in the FGC. I love watching the best of the best compete at the highest level of competition and just seeing some awesome stuff. And it's very disheartening to hear what happened. And I keep looking down, because we're going to be talking about a couple of statements that have been made, and I do want to give accurate information, because I do not want to give misinformation when discussing this, because it is a very sensitive topic. But going into it, so EVO 2020 originally was going to be pushed to an online tournament at the end of July going into August, the first few days of August. And before we even got to that point, a lot of allegations came out of sexual misconduct. And a lot of people have been outed for predatory behavior, have been outed for grooming, have been outed for inappropriate conduct towards children. And one of the people that were caught in the act was the president of EVO. EVO has posted a statement, and I'm going to be reading the statement and also be providing the statement on the screen so you guys can see it as well. Over the past 24 hours, in response to the serious allegations recently made public on Twitter, we have made the first of a series of important decisions regarding the future of our company. Effective immediately, Joey Collier will no longer be involved with EVO in any capacity. We are currently working towards his complete separation from the company and have relieved him of all his responsibilities. Going forward, Tony Cannon will act as CEO. In this position, he will take a leadership role in prioritizing greater accountability across EVO both internally and at our events. Progress does not happen overnight, or without bravery of those who speak up against misconduct and injustice. We are shocked and saddened by these events, but we are listening and committed to making every change that will be necessary in making EVO a better model for a stronger, safer culture we all seek. As a result, we will be canceling EVO Online, and we will work to issue refunds for all players who chose to purchase a badge. We will donate the equivalent of the proceeds as promised to Project Hope. So, a little bit of rundown because I don't want to go into the details of the allegations because it's really horrific, and I don't even I know even Richard Review Tech USA said the same thing, that he didn't feel comfortable putting a link to the story of the victim who came out, and I'm not going to do that because it's pretty horrific what happened 20 years ago with that person. And obviously Joey has come out on Twitter and said an apology, said that, hey, I apologize. I was a different man 20 years ago. I'm trying to make things right now. And I don't even want to put, I know people have put the picture of his tweet in their videos talking about this, and I don't want to do that. Mainly because I don't feel like it's necessary to do it. Especially because I do believe in second chances. I do believe that there is redemption for mistakes. I do believe that because of my own personal beliefs, that there is nothing that cannot be forgiven. But this is something that is very hard to believe, in my opinion, to say that he's sorry, that 20 years ago he was a different person. And when you actually look up the story of the victim and you listen to the story, it's very hard to believe that he's sorry. And I know Alpha Omega Sins, even Rich from Review Tech USA said in his video that Alpha Omega Sin in his video, in the comment of that tweet, said that you're only sorry because you got caught. If you were sorry, you wouldn't have done this. This wouldn't have happened, but you're not. You're only sorry because you got caught. And I know a lot of people don't share the same beliefs as me, and that's okay. I do believe that there is forgiveness, that there is mercy, that there is grace. But that doesn't mean that, hey, forgive and forget. No, that means forgive and learn to make things better. And obviously justice needs to be sought. There needs to be justice for this, because what happened is unacceptable. There is no way you could ever justify, sexually abusing a child. There's no way you can ever justify that. And it's heartbreaking, to say the least. And it's hard for me to even look at you guys in the camera and say this, because it's hard, because this is an event that I have cherished for many years, and I always love watching EVO with my friends. We always watching the games that we're interested in and just seeing all the hype moments and just seeing the crazy levels of competition. But to see that tainted now because of one man's actions is heartbreaking, because this leaves a bad stigma on the FGC, because this has been going on for a long time. And let's keep this in mind too. This wasn't the only thing that came out. This wasn't the only allegations that were thrown around, which makes this even worse. And I'm currently looking for the rest of the context, because like I said, I do not want this to to turn into a, what's it called, misinformation, that I want to provide accurate information. So what happened is the Smash community has also had a large number of sexual allegations thrown around. And this is pretty big because, as you guys all know, the Smash Bros community is a very big community. Everyone loves Smash Bros. It's a family-friendly oriented game. It has a lot of people from varying age groups coming and playing the game. That these tournaments are very big. They produce big numbers. Its following is very massive. And to hear that it's not just like one or two people that have been ousted for predatory activity, it's a lot of people. And I'm going to go down the list to show you guys what I'm talking about. A Rookie, Ace Attorney SSB, Agent Paper, Ali, Alios, Alvisor, A Memba, Anti, Asfistemi, Bexty, Blue, Bozzy or Amari, Captain Zach, Caravan Puff, Sea Horse, Chris West, Cinepe, I'm going to talk about that one, Kobenarani, 456, Cruise Control, D1, Darius, aka Mystic, aka Knights, DC or Tiny DC, DJ Nintendo, Eden, Kiloman, False, Felipe Chi, Focus, Freelance Leo, Fruit, Frost, Firori, or Girthquake, Ghoulie, Gunblade, Hungry Box. That's actually a new one. I'm being honest. That's actually a new one. This is the first time I've seen this one. IGT Unknown, Irregular Ginny, Iso Boy, J2K, J's Fanatic, J Tails, J Swiss, or I don't know why people say JS Swiss, but JS Swiss or J Swiss, K Pan, Cami or Norik, Camon, Captain Crook, Kitaro, another big one, Keith the Human or PG Keith, La Luna / the Moon, Lilo or Nia, LSDX, Lindis, MacD, Maine, Masono Mace, Matty G, Mar Wolfie, Mittens, Mr. Wizard. Obviously, Mr. Wizard is Joey, the president of CEO. MVP, Nairo, Noel Brown, or so, PBNJ, Pierce 7D, PK or Pokemon King for Life, Pooch, Pug West, Pyrus, Relax Alex, another big one, Remo, Riggs, Rock Crook, S2H, Sabby, Scruff, Skyza, or I'm probably saying that wrong, but continuing. Sleepy K, Semisty, Static Manny, Steven or Brooklyn, Swords Railer, Sword Railer, Taj or Arizona, TZ, TMPR, Tyrant, Ultra 98, Unnamed Vermont Melee Player, Unnamed Virginia Beach Player, Venia, Vixen, Vero, West Balls, X Zax, Yikaru, Z2G, Zaxel, Zebra, 02 None, and Actual Zero, or Zero. These are all the Smash Bros. Players that have been ousted as alleged offenders. Some of them have come out and admitted to their crimes, that what they have done, and horrible crimes. The ones that have come out and actually have been caught are Cinepe, Nairo, Zero, and Relax Alex. Those are the ones that I am currently familiar of, the ones that have been outed for predatory activity. Also PK, I forgot about that one, PK. I'm looking through the list again, and I will be providing a link in the Reddit description. A link to the Reddit post that you guys can see everyone. It also lists out all the stories of everyone that has come out and, bravely shared their stories of what has happened. Obviously, this is very disheartening for the Smash Bros. Community because that's a lot of people. a lot of people that have been working in the shadows, doing a lot of horrible things to children, especially because since this is a game that involves children, like there is children playing this game on a competitive level. And there's also a lot of people that are grown that are playing this game. There's a lot of interactions. And sadly, there has to be some misconduct. There sadly had to be abuse. There sadly had to be grooming. There sadly had to be manipulation of these children to be sexually abused. And it hurts to hear that, because you don't imagine the worst in people. That's naturally just who I am. Is I'm somebody who acknowledges that, yeah, this world is pretty messed up. There's a lot of messed up people. There's a lot of things that people do in the shadows that a lot of people don't see. And it's very disheartening to hear that these people have taken advantage of children, have taken advantage of people younger than them, have assaulted them, have done horrible things that shouldn't have been done. And yes, I'm glad that a lot of them have been outed, that a lot of them have owned up to their mistakes. That doesn't mean that things go back to normal. And especially the Smash community, you have to think about it like this too. Nintendo was already very hesitant to do anything with the Smash community. They didn't want to sponsor any tournament that wasn't theirs. And now, this almost seals the deal. It's never going to happen. Like, people always had the stigma that the Smash community was weird, that they're just a bunch of weirdos, that they don't know how to shower, they don't have, like, a lot of harmful, like, jokeful things. But now they have a lot of things to say. It's the same thing people said about the Pokemon community, is we've recently had a lot of people getting outed for predatory activity. And this hurts because, like I said, these are Nintendo IPs. These are IPs meant to be family friendly, to involve children and people that are older. And to see that there's people that are taking advantage of them, of children. Prime example in the Centipede case, where she was 24 and she raped a 14-year-old boy. And I know, and it was disgusting to see a lot of the comments of the victim's story where they were talking about how, oh, you're a guy, you can't have that happen to you. That can't happen to a guy. Like, they were just saying nice. Like, why are you complaining? Why are you being a snitch? And it's very disheartening to hear that, because it just shows that there's such a heavy double standard towards, you know, victims that are males, that male victims are treated differently than female victims. It's very sad, because the reality is every victim should be taken seriously. That you like, yes, I understand that there are exceptions where there's times where people make up stories, that there's innocent people whose lives are ruined because somebody thought it was a bright idea to throw allegations that just weren't true. I get it, that happens. You know, it happens. We can't pretend that it doesn't happen, but the majority of the time, the victims are telling the truth. And this is prime examples of victims telling the truth. Like, being honest, like when we look at Zero's case, Zero had to lie twice. He told 2 different stories. And then it was the third time where he finally opened up and admitted, look, I lied. This is what happened. And yeah, currently now he's going off social media. Obviously, his esports organization is going to be providing aid to the victims, but they're also going to be providing help to Zero, that they're not just throwing him under the bus, that yes, they are going to be severing ties from him in terms of him not being part of the organization anymore, but they are going to get him the help that he needs, which is reality. All these people really need help. And I know a lot of people say that, yes, like, you can't come back from this. This isn't something that you can, you know, just get help and then just come back into the fold. I understand that people think that, but this is something that will take time. It will take a lot of introspection, a lot of time. And for the victims, we have to thank them for their bravery for coming out, because this is something where I always like to be objective. I always like to, wait till due process. I always like to wait until there's an actual case, until there's actual like full-blown evidence, like here's all the evidence, and not just going by allegations. But this isn't what happened here. This is where these people were exposed and they admitted it. This isn't a case where somebody is being falsely accused and they're trying to clear their name. No, these are accusations that have been put towards these people, and they have admitted that they are true. And that's what makes things much more difficult, especially because the Smash community, it'll be interesting to see how this community responds, how this community goes forward, because the Smash community, if we're being honest, they're incredibly toxic. I'm not going to lie. Like every hardcore fan base of a video game is toxic. It is true. But the Smash community just seems to be more toxic, where they seem to be more inclined to bullying victims. They seem more inclined to not believe victims. They seem to be more inclined to harass victims for coming out and sharing the story, because to share these kind of stories takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of courage, especially when you're doing this, you're sharing your story about somebody who's in power, somebody who has a large influence, a large following. And it takes a lot of bravery to do that. And then to see people belittling the victims, like people that they're like, no, this is all bullshit, I don't believe this. And it's heartbreaking to see it, to hear it. And this is why I say, it makes it hard for victims to come out and actually share their stories, because they know that they're going to get criticized. They know that people are going to say, look, you're lying, you're not telling the truth. Just admit that you're lying. Just say you're doing this for your 5 seconds of fame. But then you see that, hey, they're telling the truth. These people admitted it. And then you just see people saying dumbfounded. You see people saying stupid stuff like, oh, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why, oh, come on, man. This community can't have anything good going for them. And that's not the point. This is a good thing for the community. It's the same thing I said when the Pokemon community, when we started outing people like King Nappy, and even the new round of predators that are being outed. This is doing something good, because this is removing scum from the community that does not belong here. These people do not belong in this community. This is a community that involves people of varying age groups, and we need to be protective. We need to protect our own. It's kind of like a saying that goes in Hispanic families, where you protect your own. Like, that family is everything. And that's what this community is one giant family, and we're supposed to be protecting one another. Not abusing one another, not taking advantage of one another, not manipulating one another. And that's something that is very disheartening to hear, that this has happened. And to be honest, it's hard for me to believe, because to be honest, at first, hearing Zero's story and seeing what he had to say, at first, yeah, I took the bait a little bit, where it's like, okay, he's showing screenshots of conversations, being transparent, but he's also opening up to a lot of psychological trauma that he's been through growing up. And I was like, okay, I can understand. I may not believe him, but I'm a little bit more inclined to understand the victim's perspective and his perspective. And then he came out and admitted that, hey, I lied. I'm owning up to it. I did ask for inappropriate pictures of a 14-year-old, and I'm leaving the platform. And I was like, okay, yeah, you owned up to it. Now you get to pay the consequences of what you did, because this isn't right. It really isn't. And nobody should be happy about this situation, because there's no reason to be happy. The only reason I could realistically see someone being happy is that the victims are going to get justice, that they came out and shared their stories, that these people are being outed, and that the community is now removing these people from the community, because they do not belong in this community. People that want to take advantage of other people, that want to, do this kind of stuff to children, is unacceptable. Especially when we're talking about over a 10+ year difference. This is unacceptable. Under every circumstance, is completely unacceptable. And I'm glad that the Smash community is, is realizing, hey, this ain't it, chief. This ain't going to keep going down. We are not going to allow these people to continue to abuse their power, to continue to work behind the scenes and do this kind of heinous actions, because they shouldn't. It's disgusting that they did for such a long period of time, but I'm glad that now these victims will get justice, that now they will get some semblance of peace, because their abusers are now being caught. Their abusers have nowhere to run. And I hope that more people come out and share their stories, because who knows, there probably is more under the surface that we don't even know. There could be more people. Could be. But I do want to say this for the people that are listening, that are watching. Please do not belittle victims when they come out. Please do not do that. Listen, allow due process to take its place. The accusations are true, you'll know. And if they're not, you'll know. It'll be very, very clear. It won't be just, hey, this is just me trying to get my 5 seconds of fame and then I'm going to move on and who cares? No. Please be respectful of the victims and hear their stories. Listen to them. And if the person that's being accused comes out and says, yeah, I did it, then be ready to act and that justice will be served, because that is what will happen, is justice will be served to these people for what they have done. Because it is unacceptable for what they were able to get away with. That it is not right in any circumstance for what they thought they could get away with. Because the truth will always reveal. Like, you can't hide from the truth. The truth is the truth. Justice will be served. There will be no day where you can do something, you can pretend that nobody's going to find out. They will. You will not get away with doing horrible things. You think that you're hiding in the dark, but you're really not. Because everything you do is going to be pointed out in the light. And you're going to get caught. And I'm glad that these people have been caught in the act. That people are now saying, hey, cancel culture time. It's time to cancel these people. And this is an instance where I agree that, yes, these people should be canceled. This does not need to keep happening. Like, people like this should not be continued to have this kind of power over people. And where do I personally see the communities going in regards to EVO, in regards to the Smash community? It'll be interesting. EVO, to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if companies are going to trust the company anymore. I don't, like other, like, say, Bandai Namco. I don't know if, what's it called? Capcom's going to trust them. Like, all of them pulled out. Like, they were like, Arc System Works was like, nope. Recent allegations were just like, nope, we don't want to be a part of that. And I would not be surprised if EVO gets canceled in general and they just have to go with a complete rebrand and just whole U-Haul. And it would suck to see that, but if it's what needs to be done, it's what needs to be done. In regards to the Smash community, I don't see any chance in hell Nintendo's ever going to sponsor the Smash community. No way in hell. And I honest to God think that this is going to leave a big impact on the Smash community and leave a sour taste in people's perception of the community, because this isn't just a small group of people like the Pokemon one, where it was like 1 or 2 or 3 people and then now had like an extra 3 people. No, this was a lot of people right off the bat, like probably close to like 30 people plus. And there's still more coming, because like I said, I didn't know about the Hungry Box one, but he had allegations towards him. And it was funny because me and my friend Gilberto, we joked about it, where it's like we joked, I don't think Hungry Box is going to get anything thrown at him. He seems like a cool guy. He doesn't seem like he's done anything stupid. Nah, chief, he's got allegations, so But I hope that you guys take time to listen to the victims' stories. I do not want to post the ones for Joey or Mr. Wizard. I do not want to post those because people have said that it's just very horrific to listen to it, and I'd rather not do that. If you guys want to do it on your own time, you can obviously find it yourselves, but I am going to be mainly just post the Reddit link to the big Reddit post that has all the names of the people with accusations, all the stories for each of those people, and so you guys can see what they have been doing. And I ask you guys, please listen to the victims. Do not just discount them. Do not just discredit them, be like, hey, you're just lying, you're doing this for 5 seconds of fame. Listen to both sides, and if they admit it, if the accuser or the accused admits to doing it, then make sure that justice is going to get served, because it will. And this is something that is needed, because like I said, this is a plague that needs to be removed, because this does not belong in our communities. This does not belong in our places that we consider safe to play video games. This does not belong there. This doesn't. And I only pray and hope that more victims would come out and bravely share their stories to show that, hey, this will not be tolerated. And I just hope that you guys would be respectful of the victims. Please do not be attacking the victims. And if you have attacked victims that have shared their stories and you have belittled them, and the person they have accused comes out and admits it, please apologize. Own up that you made a mistake and that you want to make things right. Because that is what we need right now, is we need the community to come together to remove this cancer that does not belong here. This does not belong in our communities. This does not belong in our safe spaces. And if you are a parent who has children that are involved in these communities, be mindful of what your children are doing, because you do not know who they're interacting with. You do not know who could be working behind the scenes and who could really be a monster behind the scenes. I ask that you guys, please be mindful. Please be good listeners. Please be objective in these situations. Do not take the sides of the person that you follow, the celebrity or the public figure, because like I said, they're humans. They make mistakes. Do not put them on a pedestal that they're above, that they're above people, because they're not. They're humans. They make mistakes. They have flaws. And sadly, some of them are monsters. We just have to accept that reality, guys. I thank you guys for coming back and listening to this episode. It really means a lot to me. You guys keep coming back and listening. Like I said, I'm going to be leaving a link in the description down below so that you guys can follow the Reddit thread of the Smash Bros. Community, so you can see all the allegations, all the stories. And I thank you guys for coming back and listening, for being patient with me. I hope that I was able to share the information accurately and not, provide any false information, that you guys understand that I wanted to take my time and be perfectly clear with my intentions, that look, this is disgusting, this should not have happened, and now we have to move forward and make things right, and that justice will be served to the victims. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Please come back and listen to the Friday's episode, which will be a little bit more lighthearted, but I love you guys to death. Please continue to be safe. If you like the video, please, leave a like. If you don't like it, leave a dislike. If you haven't subscribed, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you can get notifications. And obviously, if you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this podcast, leave a rating. Let me know what you guys think of the show. But I hope you guys come back and listen to Friday's episode. I love you guys to death. Please continue to be safe. Continue to respect each other, in terms of social distancing, in terms of, wearing your mask. Do everything in love and compassion towards others. And be safe, guys. I love you guys to death. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Bye, guys. Hey there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.